Hey everyone, Dorian from Noesis here. It's great to get together again. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into data, and especially how you can easily create powerful and highly efficient data-driven interfaces all within Noesis Studio. Now before we take a look at the specific features that we offer, let's take a moment to go over what exactly we mean by data. At a very basic level, we're referring to using a feed of values to power various aspects of an interface's functionality and presentation. Now this is especially important because the interfaces that we create don't exist in isolation. On the contrary, they're given value to the user through their interchanges with other systems. For example, if we look at a classic instance of a volume slider, the slider UI reads the engine's volume value and displays it. Then, when the user adjusts the slider, the engine's volume value gets updated. In this scenario, the interface both reads and writes data. Now, what's especially powerful about driving an interface with data is that the UI itself can be entirely built as an agnostic but highly dynamic presentation layer, designed to have its content not only populated with, but also capable of adapting to a variety of possible values. This results in a highly efficient system referred to as a Model-View-ViewModel approach, which you'll sometimes hear referred to as MVVM for short. In this model, since the UI's presentation layer and its data layer are separate, it means that the data can be seamlessly changed at will, including not just its values, but also its entire source. And it's precisely through this ability to change data source that we're able to power the exact same UI files either from the engine's data or from Noesis Studio's own design time data without any additional work. So, what is design time data? Well, it can generally be thought of as high-fidelity mock data that only exists within Studio. It can be used to drive the entirety of an interface from within the application itself without any external dependencies. Since this design time data is separate from the engine data, it can easily be used by creators to simulate with immense freedom how a particular interface is capable of functioning in different circumstances, without adversely impacting or being limited by the constraints of the end product itself. So let's talk about what data looks like in practice, then we'll cover how to create, edit, and use data within Studio to power a Noesis GUI interface. At a basic level, data is contained in what are known as data structures. You can essentially imagine each of these as a folder for data. These data structures are made up of any number of slots called data properties, which in turn can each be assigned a data value which the interface can read or write to. What's important to note here is that architecturally speaking, only one data structure, including its properties and values, can be assigned to an interface at once. So, in order to achieve being able to serve many data structures to an interface, data properties themselves are also able to reflect the content of other data structures. Now, what this allows creators to do is to build networks of nested, highly modular structures, all flowing through a single master data structure. Noesis Studio not only includes all of the features to create UIs themselves, but also comes with a full suite of tools to create, edit, and manage all of the design time data used to drive the entirety of a product's interface within the application. So let's jump to the data panel on the far left of the application window, or by pressing Ctrl and 6 on the keyboard. Here, new data structures can easily be created by clicking on the plus icon at the top right of the data panel, then selecting Structure. Once created, these can easily be renamed or removed as desired. Each data structure also contains its very own properties panel from where its properties can be added, named, duplicated, deleted, and most importantly, where the data property itself can be configured. The data type is used to set what type of value is contained within the data property and provides a layer of compatibility validation as well as offering creators intuitive tools to input each value. This data type also includes the ability to embed any enumerations that have been created, which will allow you to take full advantage of many of the amazing benefits of processing data as an ordered and labeled list of values. It's also through here that other data structures can be nested, from where they can either be set to be served as a single item, or to multiply into a collection of multiple items that all share the same properties but have different values. Lastly, it's also worth noting that it's also possible for programmers to expose an engine's data structure within Studio. Although these are not directly editable within the application, they can still be populated with values, or they can be used as a base to extend them even further within Studio. Once the data structures are prepared, their values can then be filled out. To be able to do so, unlimited amounts of data sets can be created by hovering over any data structure and clicking on the circled plus icon. Each dataset's values can then easily be populated from its Properties panel. This includes not only the ability to fill out their available fields, but in the case of collections, further instances can be added or removed on a set-by-set basis. The ability to create multiple data sets allows creators to easily and instantly simulate how the interface changes under the influence of a variety of data values, resulting in a super efficient method to preview and validate different states within the UI. Swapping datasets on the fly is as easy as changing the assigned dataset by hovering over it and clicking on the home with the plus icon. As an alternative to manual data input, Noesis Studio also offers a fully integrated tool that allows you at the push of a button to populate an entire UI with placeholder values that are semi-randomized according to the constraints set up in the expander of many of our supported data types. This allows for rapid testing of edge cases, or simply to be able to make progress on a data-driven UI whilst the content is still pending. With the data structures and values created, individual elements and their properties can then be easily bound to the data itself to populate content, drive functionality, or to automatically populate collection elements. This can easily be achieved by first ensuring that the dataset is assigned to the current scope, then clicking on the three-dot menu of an element's property and creating a binding. Under the Context tab, the desired data can then be selected and will now run off of the value found in the associated active dataset. The awesome thing here is that if the data structures between Studio and the engine match, the exact same bindings will seamlessly work across both contexts, without any need to maintain two versions of the project and without any need for rework. With all of that said, making data accessible represents a really exciting new frontier, introducing a new surface for creators to feel even more empowered to develop higher fidelity work and to discover a lot of the magic that data offers in terms of procedural generation and efficiency. Within Noesis Studio, you'll find a collection of many samples which employ some of the same techniques that we've covered today. If you have any questions or want to know how to achieve something, drop by our forums anytime and we'd be thrilled to connect with you. As always, from all of us at Noesis, thank you so much for joining, and we'll catch you next time.